So Martin Bakole was stopped in the 10th round against Michael Hunter. It was his first professional loss. He was touted as a serious contender in the heavyweight division by his people, by his trainer, Billy Nelson. He's apparently the son of a king, of a tribal king in his native country of Congo. And when they announced him for this fight against Michael Hunter in the ring, they called him the future King of Scotland. And I guess that's a play on the nickname they gave to Idi Amin, who was an African, the president of Uganda back in, the late 70s. They called him the last King of Scotland. So calling Martin Bakole the next King of Scotland, I think they called him the next King of Scotland, not the future king, the next King of Scotland. I think that was a play on that. Be that as it may, Bakole looked terrible in this fight. From the opening bell, he looked terrible. Now, is it because Bakole underestimated Hunter, wasn't in the best of shape, wasn't in the right place mentally? Or was it because Bakole has just been overrated from the beginning? Is that what it was? Because Bakole's never fought anybody. All right, you look at his record, there's nobody on there. No one. I would say the best opponent that he beat might be Sokolovsky or Dominic Akinladi, one of those two guys. But the rest of them, I mean, even those two guys are not well beaters, are they? To put it mildly. So he'd fought nobody, but he was looking good, fighting nobody. People were impressed by his punching power, by his smoothness in the ring, his shot selection, all that kind of stuff. But against Michael Hunter, he looked slow as molasses, as graceful as an elephant in there from the opening bell. The speed gap between the two of them was massive. It was vast. And Bakole looked cumbersome, clumsy, was making all kind of mistakes, and resorted quite early in the fight to just putting his hands up and marching forward, Tyson Fury style, like when Fury fought Steve Cunningham after he got dropped. That's what Bakole was doing in the early part of the fight anyway. Midway through the fight, he appeared to injure his arm or his shoulder. And he actually wanted to pull out of the fight. Kept on telling his trainer, Billy Nelson, I can't. He wanted out. But his corner kept sending him back out there to continue fighting on. They would not allow him to quit. I want to ask you guys how you feel about that. How do you feel about a trainer not allowing his fighter to quit when he's got an injury like that, where he can't really use his arm? Now, his arm wasn't fully popped out. He didn't have a fully dislocated shoulder like George Groves when he fought Eubank. No, he weren't like that. He weren't nothing like Danny Williams when he fought Mark Potter back in the days. No. But you could tell that there was something not quite right about Bakole's arm. You could tell there was something not quite right about it. It might have been a partial dislocation or something. Or maybe a tendon got pulled or snapped or whatever the case may be. But it wasn't a full dislocation, but there was definitely something wrong with it. So it's quite a serious injury. How do you feel about a fighter wanting to retire from a fight with that injury, but being forced to continue by his corner? Just to give you an example of a fighter who retired with a similar injury, Vitaly Klitschko quit in his fight against Chris Bird with an injury like that. And his corner didn't stop him from quitting. But Bakole's corner did. He continued on. He tried some big swings with the left hand, but Michael Hunter was just far too fast, far too active, and far too accurate. He was very accurate. Michael Hunter, from early on in the fight, very accurate. And yeah, he lit Bakole up like a Christmas tree pretty much the whole way through. Do they have the scorecards here? Let me see. No, the scorecard's not here. And this wasn't a... Okay, it was for the vacant IBO Intercontinental Heavyweight title. Why is it only a 10 rounder then? Shouldn't it be a 12 rounder? I don't know. But they don't have the scorecards there. I'm not sure if it was... No. Anyway, yeah. He was getting lit up like a Christmas tree. Hunter's speed was too much for him. And he got stopped in the 10th. And that's pretty much it. I've described the fight. It was a good fight. And anyone who hasn't seen it, it is on Daily Motion. And I think I think it's on YouTube, not Daily Motion. So go YouTube it and you can watch the whole fight. Hopefully it's still up when you go watch it, when you go look for it. Good fight to watch. But yeah, I mean, watching it live, because I didn't watch it live. Watching it live would have been a lot more enjoyable than watching it when you already know the result. Because watching it live, you must have been thinking, if one of these big swings catches Michael Hunter, he's going to have problems. But I already knew the result before I'd seen it, because I didn't watch it live. And so it wasn't quite as thrilling, you know, and it didn't look quite as competitive as it might have looked to people watching it live. It was a competitive fight, but Hunter was in control throughout the majority of it, to my eyes, and closed the show in very, very good fashion. Now, James Ali Bashir, who is a veteran boxing coach, he's in my Facebook boxing group, Hatman Boxing. James Ali Bashir has trained the likes of Alexander Usyk, Vladimir Klitschko, and many other fighters over the years. And James Ali Bashir, in my Facebook boxing group yesterday, left a comment saying that Michael Hunter Jr. can beat any of the heavyweight contenders out there if they're not ready and they underestimate him and don't prepare for him properly. He can beat any of them. He rates him that highly. I was actually quite impressed with him when he fought Usyk, because he gave Usyk plenty of trouble in that fight, but ultimately came up short. And it was interesting seeing him in the Bakole fight because he was carrying a lot of flesh around his stomach, around his midriff. He weighed 213 pounds against Bakole. That 13 pounds was pretty much pure fat. So he's really not a heavyweight. He's only a cruiserweight. You see him at cruiserweight and he's pretty toned. But at 213 at heavyweight, he was looking fleshy as hell. So he really is a cruiserweight. And for a cruiserweight to be doing like that to Bakole is not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. Now, don't get it twisted. Cruiserweights do bring certain things to the ring which can trouble heavyweights, like speed, which obviously troubled Bakole. But you need to be in condition as a big man fighting a smaller, faster guy. You need to be in great condition. You need to be sparring fast guys. Your defense needs to be on point. I know Bakole's been sparring Anthony Joshua, but somebody like a Michael Hunter is much more elusive than Joshua, throws a lot more punches. And you have to prepare yourself for that. It's a different kind of equation. You can't just go in there thinking, okay, I've sparred all these rounds with a big 6'6", 250-pound Joshua. That's a totally different style and a totally different equation than fighting a 6'2", 213-pound Michael Hunter, who's much faster, much more mobile, much more active. Styles make fights, right? So maybe Bakole just wasn't good enough. Well, he obviously wasn't good enough on the night, but I'm talking about his talent. Maybe he just doesn't have the talent to become a top-level heavyweight or even beat a Michael Hunter. Or maybe it's a situation where he just underestimated Hunter, overlooked him, thought that because he's a cruiserweight, I'm going to deal with him with ease. Who knows? You guys discuss that in the comment section below. And just to close the video out, I want to give my opinion. I've asked for your opinions, and I'm going to give you my opinion on what his trainer Billy Nelson did, sending him out there when Bakole didn't want to continue. Billy Nelson clearly don't have Martin Bakole's best interests at heart. That's what I'll say. The trainers are there to protect the fighter. If the fighter don't want to continue and he has that kind of injury, the trainer should be allowing him to retire in the corner. That's what he should be doing, in my opinion. I have seen fights where fighters have wanted to quit and their corners have convinced them not to before. Yeah, I've seen fights like that before. When Andrew Golota fought Mike Tyson, he did quit, but his corner tried to stop him quitting. They were actually trying to force the gum shield back in his mouth when Andrew Golota quit against Mike Tyson. So I have seen things like that before, but in that situation, Golota wasn't injured against Tyson. Yeah, he had a little cut above his eye, but he still had 2 good arms and 2 good legs, and he'd only gone 2 rounds, you know? Whereas Bakole had gone several rounds. He was tired. He had an injured arm, a compromised arm. That's a dangerous position to be in. So, yeah, I personally don't like what his trainer, Billy Nelson, did. And if he's not tied into any type of long-term contract, I'd be looking to sever ties if I was in his position. Anyway, let me know what you guys feel in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out. And in fact, before I go, let me not be disrespectful. What would you like to see Michael Hunter do next? How far do you think he can go? Do you think he should continue at heavyweight? Or do you think he should drop back down to cruiserweight? Drop it all in the comments. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.